Hey there folks, thanks for checking in. Today we wanted to check out the oven. Now the hardware is a collaboration between Maor Applebaum Hendyamps, and Brainworx has brought it to us in a plugin. This is a great saturation device, great finishing device, a lot of controls as you can see. I've got a fresh instance here so that we can check it out. Let's go ahead and start at the top. So over here on our left, you can see that we have this headroom control. All the way to the left is less headroom, all the way to the right is more. We've got it on more, and let's see how just that affects our signal.
Don't wait upon me tonight. Don't call me, you'll be alright. Don't waste your time. None of your business. Don't wait upon me tonight. Don't call me, you'll be alright. Don't waste your time.
So as you can see, it gets a little crunchier as we get to that less headroom section. Let's go ahead and default this. Let's take a look at our calibration mode. This is somewhat similar, but at the same time, a little bit different.
Don't wait upon me tonight. Don't call me, you'll be alright. Don't waste your time. None of your business. Don't wait upon me tonight. Don't call me, you'll be alright.
So as you can hear, changing our calibration mode also changes our output, so that is something to keep in mind. But using the both of them together, calibration mode and headroom, you can kind of just create that input that you want, that opening headroom, and see what that does. For instance, if we leave it on high, as we start to change our headroom towards that less, you'll notice we get a lot more crunch out of it than we did before.
Don't wait upon me tonight. Don't call me, you'll be alright. Don't waste your time. None of your business. Don't wait upon me.
So it's really neat that you can use that to kind of get that first level of saturation going just the way you want. Now next up, we have our temp control.
Don't wait upon me tonight. Don't call me, you'll be alright. Don't waste your time. None of your business. Don't wait upon.
Now, according to the manual, the temp control alters both the solid state and tube circuits and how we're pushing them. We also have this high-low switch that if we put it into high, we'll push it and even more.
Don't wait upon me tonight. Don't call me, you'll be alright. Don't waste your time.
So you can see how that's working there. We'll put it back on low. Now, next to that, we have this cook control, and this cook control pushes just the tube circuit. So temp will push both circuits, cook will push just the tube, but they are still different than each other, whereas the temp will kind of change how the cook sounds. So cook by itself.
Don't wait upon me tonight. Don't call me, you'll be alright. Don't waste your time. None of your business. Don't wait.
And as you can see as we're going through this, some of these are a little bit subtle until you really start mixing them with some of the other controls or using some of the switches. For example, our cook has this bake and broil control. Bake is kind of the more dynamic version, whereas broil, to me, it almost sets like a tube bias where it's a little bit full already and it starts to naturally compress things a bit.
Don't wait upon me tonight. Don't call me, you'll be alright. Don't waste your time. None of your business. Don't wait upon me tonight. Don't call me, you'll be alright.
Cook also has this electric and gas switch, which lets you determine how hard you're pushing that tube, so we can try that too.
Don't wait upon me tonight. Don't call me, you'll be alright. Don't waste your time. None of.
You can see when we have it on both gas and broil with it all the way up like we do right now.
Don't wait upon me tonight. Don't call me, you'll be alright. Don't waste your time. None of your business. Don't wait upon me tonight.
So we can get a wide range of different saturations kind of layering on top of each other as we go on and affect with just these four main controls to get it set up. Now moving on, we have these burners, and this is just kind of like an EQ section. We have our low, mid, and top, and you'll notice they all have a type switch down here, which will affect the shape. So let's start with our low burn.
Don't wait upon me tonight. Don't call me, you'll be alright. Don't waste your time.
Again, nothing crazy by themselves. We'll take a look at our mid-burn.
Don't wait upon me tonight. Don't call me, you'll be alright. Don't waste your time. None of your business. Don't wait upon me tonight. Don't call me, you'll be alright. Don't waste your time.
Mid-burn being a little bit easier to hear on that one. Let's take a look at our top burn.
Don't wait upon me tonight. Don't call me, you'll be alright. Don't waste your time. None of your business. Don't wait upon me tonight. Don't call me, you'll be alright. Don't waste your time.
Now what's interesting about our top burn is we also have this Bunsen switch up here, which will make it a shelf that starts really, really low. So let's take a listen to that.
Don't wait upon me tonight. Don't call me, you'll be alright. Don't waste your time. None of your business. Don't wait upon me tonight. Don't call me, you'll be alright.
It's really interesting how that works. You can hear it kind of start pulling just a little bit of that mid-range along with it, some of those lower mids. Now next up we have our sizzle. This is kind of just like a really high peak.
Don't wait upon me tonight. Don't call me, you'll be alright. Don't waste your time. None of your business. Don't wait upon me tonight.
And of course we have the sizzle type if we want to change that bell.
Don't wait upon me tonight. Don't call me, you'll be alright. Don't waste your time. None of your business. Don't wait upon me tonight. Don't call me, you'll be alright.
So really interesting how we have both that top burn and that sizzle. Maybe you wanted to actually pull the top back a little bit with the saturation, and then you could use the sizzle to bring back at the very, very end just to make sure that we don't lose too much.
Don't wait upon me tonight. Don't call me, you'll be alright. Don't waste your time. None of your business. Don't wait upon me tonight. Don't call me, you'll be alright. Don't waste your time.
So you can see even with the top burn all the way down, bringing it back with the sizzle, changing that up, we can get a pretty smooth top end out of it. Now, and last but not least, out of our main section, we have our flow. Flow is more than just an output. It is also kind of like a saturation amount knob. So in its default position, it's actually at the max.
Don't wait upon me tonight. Don't call me, you'll be alright. Don't waste your time.
So you heard it brought the volume down, but let's do this. Let's turn down our headroom and kick our calibration mode all the way up so we get a lot of that crunch that we were talking about. And you notice that as I pull back the flow, not only does it get quieter, but that saturation starts to disappear.
Don't wait upon me tonight. Don't call me, you'll be alright. Don't waste your time. None of your business. Don't wait upon me tonight.
So that's a really neat approach. If maybe you are realizing that you had pushed it a little bit too much, you can use that flow to dial back the entire process. Interestingly enough, down here in our bottom section, our little Brainworx area, we do have some Brainworx goodies. For example, over here we have our TMT. I believe we have 20 channels to choose from. Our mono maker and stereo width both have on and off switches, but we do have a parallel mix here. So maybe you do like the saturation, maybe you like the crunch, you can leave your flow at max and actually just use this parallel mix to determine how much of it you're getting. And then we have just a clean digital output here to turn down your overall level, or up if you need to. But yeah, so you have 3 different spots where you can adjust the volume and overall output of this device, and a whole lot of options for creating whatever kind of saturation or sheen or distortion, if you want to, that we can get from this device. Now that's just explanatory. I've got this actually strapped up over a couple of buses. Let's take a quick listen to this song without and with those popped in.
Don't wait upon me tonight. Don't call me, you'll be alright. Don't waste your time. None of your business. Don't wait upon me tonight. Don't call me, you'll be alright.
I've got those in different spots. I've got this one on my drums. You can see we've got it pushed just a little bit, and we've got that low burn kicking a little bit. Let's see what just this one sounds like on our drums. Let's go ahead and solo those. So you can see what that's doing to it, pumping it up a little bit, giving it a little bit of excitement. Let's go ahead and skip down to our vocals, for instance, and take a look at that one. You can see we're pushing our top burn on this one.
Don't wait upon me tonight. Don't call me, you'll be alright. Don't waste your time. None of your business. Don't wait upon me tonight. Don't call me, you'll be alright. Don't waste your time. None of your business. Don't wait upon me tonight. Don't call me, you'll be.
You can see just our cook and our temp are kind of pushing it a little bit, giving it a little bit more body, and that top burn just helps it to cut through across the top of the mix.
Don't wait upon me tonight. Don't call me, you'll be alright. Don't waste your time. None of your business. Don't wait upon me tonight. Don't call me, you'll be alright. Don't waste your time. None of your business. Don't wait upon me.
You can see how when I bypassed the oven, when I had the full mix playing, the vocals just seemed to lose some life. I even have it on my sub mix bus, very, very light on the top of things, since it's on the drum bus, it's on the music bus, it's on the vocal bus. I've already got some action there. Don't want to overdo it at any one stage, so I have just a little bit going on here. But let's bypass it on our sub mix just to see what it sounds like.
Don't wait upon me tonight. Don't call me, you'll be alright. Don't waste your time. None of your business. Don't wait upon me tonight. Don't call me, you'll be alright. Don't waste your time. None of your business. Don't wait upon me tonight.
So you can see, again, it's light, it's subtle, but I'm using just subtle layering here and there to give the overall track a boost that sounds pretty good. So it's a very neat, very versatile plugin, offers you a wide variety of tones and ways to shape it. I think it's, a very powerful tool. I'm super in love with it. I can't wait to see what else it can do as we go on. Thanks for checking in as we checked out the oven, and we'll see you next time.